Hey y'all, it's Nomadic Shaman here. Thank you for visiting my page. Today's video, the focus is going to be on the Dacara Thompson case. Let me preface this by saying, if you guys didn't catch my first video, my first video was a card pull. I didn't say anything or provide any type of context. I just provided a card pull of what I pulled. The next video, I went a little bit into the background as far as the relationship with Dacara and her parents. The questions that I asked was what's the nature of the relationship between Dacara and her father, Dacara and her mother? How did Dakara's mom view Dacara? How did Dacara view her mom? And how did Dacara view her dad? And how did her dad view Dacara? And if anybody had any involvement, the parents any type of involvement in Dacara going missing. Now, I realize I addressed all those questions outside of if any of them had any type of involvement. I'm going to do a video on that, a separate video. Okay. However, this video, I want to focus on Hugo Hernandez Mendez. For anybody who doesn't know or isn't familiar with my channel, I am a Reiki practitioner. I am a shamanic healer. I'm also an open channel and psychic medium. Okay, I'm also an herbalist. Now, I communicate with the past or spirits who are non-living all the time. That's like an all-day thing for me. However, I don't normally I've never done a true crime case, missing case, but for some reason, I was being pulled or drawn to Dacara. Let me just preface and say this, outside of my own personal situation, I've never done a crime case. So there's that. So what I'm going to share with you today are the intuitive hits that I received, the downloads I received, coupled with automatic writing. For those who aren't familiar with automatic writing, I go into a trance state and I will write the first things that come to mind. Okay. I tend to do that because I can be very detailed going into that. And then if any spirits want to come through to have me share any type of knowledge pertaining to Dacara Thompson case, then I will go ahead and share it. Now that is out of the way, let me say that this particular video, the disclaimer, this is for edutainment purposes. So please use your discernment with what comes across or what comes out of this video from top to bottom. Okay. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's continue. I'm going to do a deep dive as it relates to Hugo Hernandez Mendez. Now, I initially was going to tap into his energy, but when I try to tap in, it made me very nauseous. And usually when that happens, that's because the vessel itself has a lot of attachments, okay? Blockages and attachments. So I have to prepare in a different way for that. So what I'm going to do is tap in to my spiritual team and as well as any not spirits, but anyone who's passed that's on Dacara Thompson's side, if they want to come through. I am hearing a grandmother. So I don't know if her grandmother transitioned or is on her way out. Because I can communicate with those who are within their last stages of life too, as well as those who have transitioned. Now, the first thing that I will say about Hugo um, a lot of attachments. Okay. A lot of attachments. And so what that tells me is he experienced a lot of trauma. Okay. A lot of trauma. Now, in childhood. Okay. A lot of trauma. Now, the other part that I'm going to add to that is I'm talking about to the point where, as a child or adolescent, he was sacrificing animals. Okay. So that type of trauma, sacrificing, slicing animals. Okay. I'm hearing gutted like a fish. So he would slice and dice animals. I'm also hearing in his adult life too. Now, let's jump into the case. So, as far as the case, what I was able to pick up on Hugo Hernandez Mendez is that he was paid. He was a paid hitman. I did mention this in my previous video where I felt like somebody was flipping through a catalog. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical catalog, but at least whether it's physical or whether it was digital, somebody was going through, okay, to identify the best candidates to use to for the job to take Dacara Thompson out. But not only were they looking through their option of candidates, it could be digitally, it could be on paper, but I'm definitely seeing a search going on, okay? I just heard dark web. So not only was that being done, I'm also showing that the person who paid him was a businessman. So for my spiritual folks, think of King of Pentacles type of energy. For those who are not familiar with tarot, think of an entrepreneur, a success, a businessman, very successful, very, let's just say a lot of business ventures, and does well for himself. Okay. So this is what I'm picking up on the individual who hired him. I'm also picking up that the person who introduced him, almost like, not almost, but showing him as one of the prime candidates, I'm picking up on a woman. This woman could be a partner to this businessman, whether it's a business partner of theirs or a romantic partner of theirs. These two folks were very integral as far as selecting him out of candidates and paying him. Okay. The man paid him. The woman presented Hugo to him. Okay. This is what I'm picking up. Now, originally in the planning out process, one of the reasons why they picked this dude is because, one, he's very well versed in the occult. I'm hearing warlock. Okay. Two, not only so much as that, but the other reason is the fact that he's an illegal immigrant. Okay. So worst case scenario, if he were to ever get caught, then he would more than likely he would be deported, right? And him being deported would mean it would be whatever country that he gets deported to would be their problem. So he wouldn't face the consequences of his crimes here. Now, am I saying that it's going to pan out that way? No, I'm not. But what I'm telling you is this was part of the initial. This was this was the initial planning process and one of the reasons why he was a viable candidate. Okay. I'm hearing no face, no case. So then the next part that I wanted to add was that Hugo did get paid, and this money that he got paid is hidden. Part of the agreement, what I'm hearing, and I'm actually seeing they're showing me two men in a hotel room. hotel motel room meeting. So he met with somebody face to face in addition to digital communications to help flesh out these deals, okay? Or this deal as far as how this was going to happen. Now, one part that I'm being shown is that Hugo, he's hiding money. And one of the things that was part of the agreement, if or when he's successful with doing this, that he would get money to provide for him as well as his family, whether if it's his family here in the States or to provide for his family in Guatemala, because I believe that's where he's from, or that's where his people's from. So he was promised that let me just say it like this, and he was paid and he hid the money, okay? Because I'm seeing somebody dig like a shovel digging dirt. So I don't know. So that's my sign for he hid the money, okay? Now, I will say, let me preface this and say that the last thing that I saw regarding any type of news relating to Dacara Thompson's case was September 5th. So I haven't looked on any type of news mediums or anything of that sort to be catched up to speed, okay? So that's one. I heard let it die down some. Now, the other part that I wanted to share with you is look into the person who approved his release for the DUI or the person's boss who approved and released him of the DUI, okay, because they knew he was an illegal immigrant. But what I'm getting is it was a favor to have him released, okay? So look into the officer who released him or his officer's boss who released him, because there's a connection there connected to the businessman who paid Hugo for this job. It's a connection. This is what I'm being told. The next part, because I did write some stuff here, y'all, is there is some part of Dacara Rose Thompson's transition that was filmed from the car incident, because I'm being told that she was sexually assaulted. It happened in the car. That was the first instance. I'm also being shown the number 3. So there were 3 individuals who, Hugo's one. I'm hearing cousin. That's another one who's connected to Hugo. So they're showing me one person who's connected to Hugo. I'm hearing cousin. And there's another one who's off to the side. But they told me there's 3 in total who physically or sexually assaulted Dacara Rose Thompson. The first incident happened in the car, her leaving the club or whatever club she went. When she came back, it happened in the car. The other part is when I said filmed, there are certain aspects that were filmed. It could have been the assault itself, but it was filmed. I'm hearing Twitch. So this tells me that the purpose of this being filmed, not only to be seen later, 1, 2, not only to show the individual who paid for the hit, but 3, to stream it. Almost like a snuff film. Okay, so I don't know if the sexual assault was filmed or other aspects of of Hugo, because he didn't work alone. So Hugo and the individual who worked with him was filmed, but there's a certain aspect of it that was filmed. I heard Twitch, so that tells me streamed. The next part of it is there was a fire attempt to cover up evidence of the body. So there are certain aspects of the body that's severely charged. That's if you can recognize it, because Hugo got sloppy. And I say that in the sense because his intent was to throw the body over the bridge so that it can go into water. Because when it goes into water, was our body's what? 75, 80% water, which means that if your body is submerged in a body of water, the decomposition rate is going to accelerate. Okay, so that was the intent, but he missed. Okay, now the other part that they're showing me is Dacara Thompson was with child. Okay, between 1 and 2 months. I'm hearing 6 weeks. Between 1 and 2 months, she was with child. So, where the charred part of the body comes in is that they cut out the placenta. Hugo, or the person he was, Hugo, they're telling me Hugo. Hugo cut out the placenta. Okay, put it aside and then lit that bitch on fire. Not the placenta, but the body. Ask Spirit why to cover it up, to heal it, healing wounds. Okay. So I asked, what is a placenta? What's the placenta? I heard he wanted it. He wanted it. Now, aside from he wanted it, hold up, y'all. Give me a second. Ritualistic purposes, y'all. Ritualistic purposes. Part of the sale, ritualistic purposes. Okay, that's what they just told me. Now, one thing that they're sharing is Dacara Thompson she didn't know Hugo, but she was familiar with Hugo, meaning she saw him around. But the person that connects Dacara Thompson with Hugo is they work for the same person. They work for the same person. Hugo has like a 9-to-5 job, which covers what he really does, like the fuckery that he really does. So it's like non-suspecting. Okay, so he has a 9-to-5 job. What they say he was, like a landscaper. Okay, but following, and that's just a front. That's a cover up. Okay, but this dude is a hitman. Okay, he does a lot of different jobs, but he's paid as a hitman. Okay, spiritual or physical? Because remember I mentioned he was a warlock, or he's a warlock. There was something that was poured in her drink. Dacara Thompson, I don't get that she was drinking liquor because she knew that she was with child. So there was something that was either pouring like soda, juice, or her water. And this kind of made her react slow. Her equilibrium was off, like dizzy. Okay, so basically not alert, not quick on her feet, not alert. Okay, making it that much more easier to be overpowered. Let me see if there's anything I missed. There's any folks in law enforcement, FBI, look into the cousin and the wife, because I'm getting that he definitely had something to do with it. He wasn't as much of an innocent bystander as he is portraying or portrayed. Okay. He was involved with the cover up as well as sexually assaulting Dacara Thompson. The movement of the body is what I'm hearing. The other part is I'm hearing bodies on bodies on bodies, y'all. Okay. But that's not it. The last part that I wanted to add, let me just make sure I include it if there's anything that I missed. Two things. Dacara Thompson's parents pretty much have a case to sue. Should they want to pursue that? Sue the law enforcement due to intentional negligence of letting go of the illegal immigrant, Hugo, even though he had a DUI and a record of being a sex offender, but yet they turned a blind eye and let him go. But what I'm hearing is somebody's writing a check, a fat check. Someone's writing a big ass check under could be under a donation, but they're getting paid money outside of life insurance. Okay. And it's something that they have to keep quiet about or not advertise or promote because of that. I feel like it's connected to that. Okay. And it could be under the guise of here, this is a donation of, or this is a donation for, but it's a large ass check, y'all. And the reason why is the person behind it is connected to the intentional negligence, okay, of the law enforcement, between the law enforcement letting Hugo go. Okay, but this is something that they have to keep quiet about. It's either happening or it will happen. Okay. My spirit guide just told me it has happened. Okay. Now, the last part that I wanted to share, what's the last part? Dacara Thompson, unbeknownst to her, she was being followed. She was being stalked, followed, heavily monitored. Okay. So it was like they're showing me like a lion stalking their prey. Okay. So this could have been Hugo who was watching her. But the reason why she hopped up, Dacara Thompson hopped up in the car. One, she was familiar, had knowledge of Hugo because they had worked together on different jobs. He presented as a driver. Okay. But that was just one of his many jobs that he did for money. But they're both connected, not in the sense of Hugo was her client and they were being sexually intimate and he was paying her because she wasn't nowhere near physically attracted to him. I'm feeling like a repulse, like a disgust. No, she was going to meet somebody else. Okay. Hugo was a driver and they're both connected by a businessman. Okay. The same businessman who paid Hugo for this hit by way of Dacara Thompson. Now, the one last part, and I'll end here. is that Dacara Thompson, when she got back in the car, she was ambushed because I'm hearing ambushed. Okay. So somewhere along the lines, the plan went awry. I'm hearing she was told she was going to like a hotel to meet up with someone. And that someone was actually the father of her unborn child. Okay. Who is the businessman? Okay. So I'm going to wrap that here. And then, y'all, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.